Hey guys, this is Chris with More Than Music. We're here today with Terrence Price. We're going to talk about his new music he's working on, the process of working on the music and making it, and just kind of dive in on who he is. So, I guess, Terrence, go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of talk about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the segment. So, my name is Terrence Price, and I have been doing music for, I guess, probably about 3.5 years. I've been, I would say I've been rapping for quite a while. I've been rapping probably since I was about 16, but at that point, it it was really more so just a cappella. So, having fun freestyling, putting videos up on Facebook, so on and so forth. But it was about 3.5 years ago that I actually connected with a good friend of mine, and he actually got me into doing actual song writing. So
Mm.
he helped me purchase my first, few beats, and actually my first song actually started out as more of a spoken word, and then from there it kind of just transformed. He got me into the studio for the first time, and after that I was just pretty much hooked. And
So, what led you to kind of back up a little bit? So, kind of at 16, what caused you to start writing music, or like what was something that triggered that? Because I know for music, everybody uses it for something. They use it for a way to write their thoughts, or just kind of
right.
or you kind of
Yeah, it's funny because the way that it started was I had a friend, um, his name was Andrew. He and I, we would just, we would hang out. He and I both like rap, and it's actually kind of funny the way it started because I would share these raps with him, but they actually weren't mine. I just was reciting
yeah,
like some like ludicrous raps to him or whatever.
yeah.
But then actually we connected a couple years later, and then he was showing me some raps that he had actually written, and so I thought, well, let me try it for real. So I actually tried putting some rhymes together that were like for real mine, and actually had some fun with it.
Mm.
And after that, I pretty much just started, you know, uh, dabbling into it a little bit more, practicing with it, and you get better over time. um, Whenever I first started, I didn't really necessarily have like a specific purpose or goal in mind.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed putting words together and just started rhyming, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I mean, it sounds like you
It was just for
doing it for
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
It was just for fun. Kind of just more like competitive kind of battle rap kind of thing. Just talking about who's like the best with the words and who's the best with the rhyming. That's how it started out. And then
okay.
as I got older, when I got into actual real songwriting, then I became more serious and had more dense and
Yeah.
meaningful substance behind it. If that
So
makes sense.
so back up to Ludacris. So
Yeah.
is that an influence, or where does your influence come from?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'm a big believer in whoever you listen to, that's going to influence your style. So back then, whenever I was in high school, my style was a lot different. So I did listen to a lot of Ludacris. I listened to a lot of Drake, Lil Wayne, the Young Money, because they're kind of running things like in the
Yeah.
early 2000s, mid
Yep.
2000s. So that's who I was listening to. Um, but I would say now, once I got older, got into college, and where I'm at now, I would say my biggest style is probably Tech Nine. I started listening to Tech Nine. I was probably about the 11th grade, I would say. That's when I first came
Yeah.
across Tech Nine. Um, it just was the way that he would put together his words, because he used his syllables kind of like instruments. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that's what I really enjoyed about Tech Nine. So I would say
Mm.
he's probably the biggest influence on my style.
Yeah. No, you can tell whenever you listen to Terrence Price on Spotify, Apple Music, all these streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean that's the way you can tell Tech Nine's a big influence on the way you rap, and
Yeah.
so um, I guess what goes into making a song, like you're talking about when you started writing a real song, like what's the process?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, uh, like I said, that's something I kind of had to find and figure out when I first started. But my first ever song, which it's on all streaming platforms, it's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. It's called Uncle Tom, and so that song, believe it or not, it started out as a spoken word,
Mm.
and of course it was more spoken word format. So when I connected with my friend who got me into the studio for the first time, and I found a beat that could go to it, I had to go back and restructure it because it just was more of like, more
Yeah.
spoken word.
Yeah.
There wasn't a verse and a hook. Of course, not everything fit on beat, so I kind of had to go and take what I had, and I had to think of an intro. I had to think of a verse one. I had to think of a hook and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I learned the actual songwriting process. Now, as far as how it actually works with me now, my process, I'm kind of scatterbrained a lot of times, so I don't necessarily I won't necessarily go in order all the time, if that makes sense. So I won't always necessarily be intro, hook, verse one, so on and so forth. Sometimes I might come up with the hook first,
Yeah.
or the intro first, or verse one first, and then I'll kind of go from there. Um, and because I'm kind of scatterbrained and a little bit OCD, I won't necessarily sit there and do a whole song from start to finish. I'll kind of, in one sitting, I'll kind of think of it in pieces. It's kind of like a puzzle. So right now I could think of a song and maybe I'll think of a couple words that rhyme. That's typically how it goes. I'll start getting these words that rhyme and I'll put them together like a puzzle and just build on it over time, maybe over the course of a week or whatever. Some songs I finish them faster than others. It kind of just depends, you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, I guess kind of fast forward to today. I know you're, and the reason why I know me and Terrence actually, I'm a music engineer for Fallen Far Records, and
mhm.
me and Terrence have been working together for what, probably a
I,
couple
yeah, I
years
think it's
going
probably
on.
been about 2 years or so, something like
Yeah.
that already.
So,
So
and he holds on to his music when he should be releasing it. So,
yeah.
but we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about his song called "Drowning."
Mhm.
Actually, is the most recent that you're going to release.
Yeah,
I guess let's talk about "Drowning" and kind of how that
yeah,
song what's that about?
yeah. So the way that I'll always start is I believe that the beat is the pulse or the life of the music. So I'll go with that. So the producer that I connected with, which shout out to Martin's Beats, Diego Martin. He's a producer that made the beat for this particular song. So I heard the beat and it spoke to me instantly. It has more of like this somber kind of sound to it. And originally, I was trying to decide if I wanted to make it more of like a love song,
Mm-hmm.
but then for some reason, it made me think of water. It made me think of being submerged in water, and I felt just kind of this heaviness come over me. And so I thought, well, what if instead of a love song, what if I call it drowning? And what if I make it more of like a Christian song? So that's really what I'm talking about in the song, drowning, feeling the heaviness of the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I actually started out in the intro of the song. I say, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in John 16:33. You said we'd have trouble in this world, but to be of good cheer, for you overcome the world. So in that passage, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's just, essentially letting them know that if you know, follow the path of righteousness, you're going to have difficulties in
Yeah.
life. And that's basically what I'm talking about in the song. And I have a vocalist on the song. Her name is Lynn. So shout out to Lynn's. Um,
Dude, she's just pause. So Lynn's is like really talented.
yeah, she
Like
definitely is.
so that's the artist that you locked in before she like, isn't she? Can she still do songs with you technically, or
Well,
no? Like,
I think that right now I think she's with a label and she's
okay,
has a
okay,
contract going. So
yeah,
right
yeah.
now I don't think I can, but hopefully we'll be able to connect at some
That's cool
point.
that you did get her on the song though. Like
Right.
she's like a great, like, the whenever the song comes out, I think people are really gonna like it because the chorus, everything about it. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, she really adds a good touch to it. Did she write? Did she write the chorus, or you
Yeah,
did,
no.
or
She
okay,
wrote everything. She wrote everything herself, and just when I heard the beat again, when I heard her sing, I thought she'd be a perfect fit. So definitely, yeah. When the song drops, y'all are going to hear just how her vocals. She just sounds so sublime, and it's a perfect fit on the
yeah,
beat, and she adds a lot to it.
yeah.
So
So I guess kind of dive into when are you planning to release this, or like when's that coming out?
yeah, that's a really good question. I'm planning on releasing this song on November 1st,
Oh,
so
okay.
a couple weeks.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Um, I'm trying to think of any other questions that we have. This is kind of more than music segment. This is something new for us. We're just trying to dive in on somewhat of who the artist is and just talk about their upcoming song they're releasing. And we're just kind of doing it short and sweet.
Yeah.
You want to tell tell everybody how they can follow you on Instagram, Spotify, all the above?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to everybody that listens to my music and follows me, supports me, I truly appreciate it. If you're new and you haven't heard my songs yet, you can go check it out on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, all the streaming platforms. You can follow me on my social media accounts. It's just Terrence Ali Price. That's TarrenceAliPrice. So hit me up and connect with me, and we'll go on this journey together, this music journey.
Awesome. Well, looks like we're at our mark. I do appreciate you joining, Terrence,
thank you for
today.
having me.
I'm glad we got to dive a little bit behind it. I think once ever down the road, hopefully we can dive a little bit more into who you are as a person and,
Yeah.
and your future songs that you're working on. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so Chris with More Than Music, we appreciate you joining. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys.